Okay guys, Sunday the 15th of October and we are on Australian dollar, US dollar. So let's have a quick recap of this market from last week in relation to our Sunday analysis, and then we'll have a look at the market for the trading week ahead. And just quickly before we start, I haven't forgotten about the US market that we did the vote on. I'm going to be adding that into the reviews coming next Sunday. And before then, I'll post up a video and let you know how the results of the vote went. It's actually quite surprising. The market that won was not the market that I was expecting to come out on top. Okay, so Australian dollar, US dollar from last week. Main thing we were looking at was relating to the ascending triangle on that weekly time frame that we identified a good few months ago now. We were looking for the breakout coming into July. When the market broke out, we went over how pullbacks would now represent a potential good level of support to look for buying opportunities. You can actually see all the way back in March of 2015, we're testing this level as support, we're coming back down, we're testing it as resistance. So if we go on to the daily time frame now, the market had already been sitting down toward that potential level of support coming into the start of the week. So you can see from Friday we actually already dipped down and tested at these levels. Let's just mark it in. Now what we were looking at was, as the market was making this grinding move upward, we identified the sloping support line. We broke through it on the 22nd of September. We then started to look for the move down toward these key levels. And then coming into last week, what I went over was, this is a key level of support. We could look for buy positions. Now you can see the market has came down. It's actually came back down, retested at levels, and it's pushed up around about 150 points. So exactly what we were looking for. With subscribers, all I did was, as we were coming up on this market, I was also happy to look for sell positions for the exact reasons that we went over last week also. The double top, central pivot, very likely to act as good resistance moving forward. And as the market was coming up, if you look on those lower time frames, you can see the market was dipping as it was coming up into the levels, opening up good selling opportunities as well as buying opportunities. It's all about reading the market, guys, looking what it is telling you and what it is suggesting, where the bears are going to step in, where the bulls are going to step in, and how you can get in safely, execute your trading plan, and make some money. Okay, so one of the things I was also going over with subscribers over the last week was that although we are bouncing, there is still the potential for this market to come lower, because you can see these levels of support, they are very, very choppy, and really it's all the way down to 7,600. This level of support. So if we do start to see the bearish price action starting to move down, I'm going to be happy to look for those bullish bounces in this market as we move forward. So coming into this week, what are we now looking at? The market has made that bullish bounce, but if you remember from last week also, what I said was really it's only if we start breaking up above these levels here that I would consider the market breaking up above the central pivot of that double top. And then it's very likely, if we did see the break above there, we would start to come back up to test at previous highs, which are up here, especially if they're lining up with that sloping support and resistance line, what is now acting as resistance. So coming into next week, this area remains good resistance. The market actually pressed up here very strongly on Friday on the back of a news release. Coming into the start of next week, I'll be watching at this level. Are we starting to see resistance? If so, good to look for weakness and the potential move down. If we start to break up above, again, I'll be continuing with those bullish positions, looking for a stronger move up, at least into the 8,000 tag. Potentially back up toward the previous highs, 8,065 all the way up to 8,130, which is then that sloping resistance, which would then become a good area to look for weakness. Potentially a good move, a break up to retest, a pullback to test at what would then be support, and then another attempt up at these levels. Now this is really the key area moving forward now. This whole section up here. As the market's coming up into these levels, and really, you know, if we start to break up above this level, it's very likely we'll see a stronger move up to retest at the sloping resistance. But if we start to break up above this level, then as I mentioned last week, it's very, very likely we're going to see a stronger rally coming into this market. A break above, a pullback, and then potentially all the way up into 8,500. You know, we still have resistance up toward 8,300, but a break above all this price action now would be really suggestive of a stronger move on Australian dollar, US dollar. So for next week, what about support? Down below, as we have now broken up, we can start to look back at same level, the central pivot, right here. We're using the previous swing that we've been using for weeks and months. This gave us the clue as we started to break up that if we pulled back, we'd find the support. It's actually where we started to find the support and where we created the sloping support line. Confirmed back here on 28th of September all the way to the 3rd of October. As we broke down, you can see the market testing at the level on its way up before it breaks through. Good level to look for potential support. If we break down below that level, again, it's the levels down here that I will be watching, looking for support. Choppy price action, it would be a very strong move down if we came all the way down there next week. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but I would continue to look for support on the market. Up above, this remains resistance. If we break up above this level, I'd start to look for the stronger move up on Australian dollar, US dollar, up into previous highs, lining up with the sloping resistance line for potential weakness. And if we break up above there, the stronger move on this market. Okay, so that's pretty much everything for this week, guys. Pretty much exactly what we were looking for last week. We found the support, we've bounced higher. There was actually selling opportunities on the way up, as I mentioned, as well as those buying opportunities coming into next week. Resistance, if we break up above, we're continuing to look for that stronger move up on Australian dollar, US dollar toward previous highs. If we start to fail here, it's a good level to look for the move back down, at least into 7,820 down to around about 7,785. Okay, so as always, I hope that was useful. I hope you all have a good trading week next week. I'm James Orr, and thank you.